According to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. My name is Corinna Stoffel, and I'm the host of Toward a New World. The world seems to be falling apart. Are you as frustrated as I am with the talk about how to fix things or what needs to change, yet nothing changes? In the episodes, I invite people to look from different perspectives, sometimes even contrary to the current points of view. My intention is to evoke a different level of consciousness by empowering listeners to explore what is true for them and begin to live their lives from that place, thus changing their lives and through the world. If this appeals to you, I ask you to subscribe to the podcast on this channel.
Hello and welcome. Today I would like to talk about, should we lose definitions or hold them lightly? Definitions. If I look at the Merriam-Webster, that's a pretty damn thick book. And that holds all the definitions that we have in the English language. And that's not all of it. Because if you really look at definitions, what if I say coffee table? What pops up for you? I know for me, the first thought is I'm thinking about the coffee table that I have at home. And then I realize, there is a lot of different coffee tables out there, and some are high and some are low. Some are made out of wood, others of glass, others of metal, all kinds of different coffee tables. So there is already another layer of definition over the definition of coffee table. Let me say love. What does that bring up for you? Again, there is a personal definition that each one of us automatically goes to, depending on how we define love in our personal world. What do we expect if we talk about love? What do we expect to give as well as to receive when we talk about love? So the personal definitions, what it means to me, is one layer. Now, you may guess that there's another layer. And yes, you're correct. There is another layer, which I would call a cultural layer. For an example, let's use the above word love. What does that word mean for a group of Christian people? It definitely will have a certain definition for them. But is that definition exactly the same as if I say the word love in a group of Jewish people, or even a group of Hindu people? Each religion has their own definition and idea and concept of what love is or isn't. So there is another segment of definitions. And then let's look at ourselves personally. We are born undefined, but as we grow, we display certain characteristics that are noted by people around us, and they talk about it and they give you feedback on those. and you start developing an image of yourself. Define who you are. And I have used words for myself like visionary, futurist, mystic, philosopher, but also math teacher, life coach, depending on which angle I am looking at myself from. So, are the characteristics that each one of us has the same that our soul has, in case you believe in a soul? Just some food for thought. But if we really look at it, independently, if we have a soul or not have a soul, the self-definitions that we give ourselves create limitations. We usually do not perceive possibilities that are outside of that framework that is given by the definition. And I would link or liken the self-definitions that we have to a card catalog in the library. And now I'm aware that puts me into a certain age group, but I don't think that the electronic catalog the library has is that much different. If you look up for a book and it's not contained in the card catalog, we quickly go to the assumption, oh, that book doesn't exist, which is a correct and an incorrect assumption right away. Correct, yes, in the sense that that particular library does not have that book. But if we go and say this book does not exist, then we may be really incorrect. That book may very well exist. We just can't find out anything about it because we have no access to it. And in today's age, where we are starting to ban books again, how do we look at it? And I've learned that there are, for instance, libraries that collect all the banned books. So there is a difference for you. If we look at the definitions, how much can we be more or have access to more possibilities than what is included in how we define ourselves? Could it be that we have way more possibilities than we allow ourselves to have? Could it be that we are way greater than we allow ourselves to be? And that question sort of brings me to a phrase by Marianne Williamson, that people are more afraid of the light that they are than of the darkness. And there is a truth to it. I have found that within myself. But in regards to limitation, let's go back to the coffee table that I mentioned earlier. With the definition, I create a certain distance to the coffee table. What do I mean with that? The coffee table is made out of something. Like I have a coffee table that's made of wood, of oak. And I have sat with the question, so what else is that coffee table? And, no matter what kind of coffee table you have, it is made out of material that comes from the earth. I don't think we have any coffee tables that are made out of material that comes from outer space. And even then, we could go there. That might be even a lot of fun. But I stayed and asked and wondered. And I didn't pursue it heavily, but eventually there was the idea that, oh, that oak tree that the coffee table is made out of is contributing to me. There was even another idea that the coffee table allows me to connect to oak trees in general. That is, for me, an important thing because I like to connect to anything on the earth. And I say that very aware of what the implications are. There is more than just people on the earth. There is animals, there are plants, there are minerals, all kinds of material. And what if we connect to that? For me, that is important. So I like, by playing this game and getting out of the distance that the definition creates, I get to more connection. And back to the self-definition. What if you do not define yourself? What would happen then? Would that allow you to choose who you are today in this particular situation? And potentially somebody completely different tomorrow. And if we're honest, isn't that what ultimately often is the case when we say, for instance, oh, I got up on the wrong side of the bed? How much are we willing to be aware of the fine nuances that do exist, that exist beyond the definition? So back to the question, are you willing to just entertain for a moment the thought of you not having any definition? I appreciate if you comment on the video and let me know what you think. Let me know what you would like to hear about. And I will see you next week, same time. Bye-bye.